All right, here we are. Let's see what the delay is. I'm curious. Anyway, hey everybody. Welcome back to Morbid Monday. It has been a while. What did I miss? I was with Jared Leto on an island thing retreat, and I came back and everybody was all paranoid about shit. Um, hey, it's been crazy since last time we did one of these, but awfully nice to see you. I've got a couple of things to chat with you about here this evening. And anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for spending a little time. It's nice to see you. Also, work could call at any time, so this could be incredibly short. Hopefully, that will not happen. Okay, so what do we want to talk about? Let's talk about movies. I have been watching some, and let's talk about the Beach House. All right, let's talk about the Beach House. Beach House came out here recently. Not sure exactly when it dropped, but there was some buzz about it. Um, people saying they liked the Beach House. Beach House was something special. So I hear that, and I take it upon myself to watch those movies. I want to know what's going on in the world of horror and thrillers and shenanigans. So I ended up checking out Beach House, and I thought it was good. I wasn't blown away by it. I know a lot of people, they talk about it in terms of body horror and cosmic horror, right? Or that's what I had heard, and that's what piqued my interest. And I think it is a better movie in a world in which the color out of space does not exist. I think I think both of those movies kind of inhabit the same space, and while I like both of them, the color out of space is just so much fucking crazier. I tend to prefer that. Although Beach House, I mean, they're telling very similar stories in very different ways. Whereas the color out of space is fucking crazy pants and bonkers and cuckoo and loony. The Beach House is kind of less so. It is much more. Um, it's just a much more somber affair. I'm gonna move that picture out of the way. It was distracting me, and so that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just less fun to watch, and it's kind of, I don't want to get into spoilers here, because if you want to see it, I want you to experience it to the best of your ability. Uh, I thought it was fine. I thought some of the performances were a little shaky. The actor who played the boyfriend, who I should have looked up and I didn't. I didn't look it up like a fool. But that guy, he was okay. But the young actress in it, I am going to take the time to look this up so I don't sound completely stupid. I should have done this before. It's been a while since we've done one. Let's see. The Beach House. Okay. Uh, the Noah LaGrosse, who plays Randall in the film. Yeah, I thought he was okay, but not great. And then Liana Liberato, who plays Emily, is very good. She's very compelling in the film. And here's another thing I got suckered by was somebody was like, "Oh yeah, the basic premise is that she is a science student who is attending or visiting a beach house with her boyfriend, and while they're there, they discover, oh hey, some friends of our parents, or the young guy's parents, have come along for the ride, and are actually using the beach house, and they didn't know that neither knew the other was coming, and blah blah blah." And it was like, oh yeah, like this young girl sciences her way out of this predicament. And I love movies like that. I love it when science and reason are the secret weapon of our heroes. And that's not really what the movie was. She is a scientist, and she has a couple of conversations about science and sort of science theory, but that's kind of it. It's not like, her science somehow makes her a more effective combatant in this scenario or anything. Anyway, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. Didn't blow my mind. Again, if there weren't a color out of space, this movie probably would have been a million times better. But what are you gonna do? You know, it was still good. It was good. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you see it. There's some interesting imagery, but again, it's so evocative of some of the trippier imagery in Color Out of Space that it's like, yeah, this is. It would be like if someone else did the Willy Wonka tunnel scene and did their interpretation of it, and no matter how good that was, you're always going to be like, that don't look like the tunnel scene. Like when Tim Burton did his remake, and they kind of did it there, and was like, no, you did it wrong. Hey, what's going on, Abraham? The Ram Man is here. So yeah, Beach House is sort of a eh. So let's talk about another movie. And let's talk about the one that is just getting all the buzz. And that, of course, would be Relic. Just landed on the VOD platform recently. And so Relic is the story of basically 3 generations of women. Hold on. Nope. Here we go. There's the grandmother, and then the granddaughter right there, and then Samantha Morton? No. One of the Samanthas. Let's get to the bottom of this. Again, in a perfect world, all this would have been prepared. It's not a perfect world. Emily Mortimer is her name. There we go. She reminds me of Samantha Morton for some reason. At any rate, doesn't matter. Does not matter a bit. So Relic is about these Emily Mortimer and her daughter going to the home where the elder matriarch of the family is. And, they kind of present it like, oh, she's been forgetful lately, but she's fine on her own. Husband died and whatnot, but it happens. And she's keeping the house for herself. So, it's it's not a spoiler to say that the film is dealing with the idea of dementia. And what it's like to be in a family where a family member is suffering from dementia and sort of the toll that takes and so forth. There have been some comparisons to Hereditary. And I don't think that's wrong. There's some uncomfortable family moments, and I think Hereditary is a better movie because some of the imagery is more striking. I think Relic kind of may have Hereditary in terms of just being thematically compelling and heartbreaking and tough, and it's a really a fascinating movie. And both of the here's what your old pal Bo likes is when a movie is under 90 minutes. And both Beach House and Relic right at 90 minutes. And that makes for an easy watch, and I appreciate that. So but Relic is really good, man. It's one of those movies that as soon as it was over, I wanted to talk to somebody about it. I wanted to talk about, particularly the ending of the film and sort of my take on what that ending is about, because it is not an easy resolution to that film. It felt very David Lynch in a really satisfying way. Now that I think about it, in fact, some of the imagery is very Lynchian, but it's good. It's a really good movie. Relic is, people are saying it's the best of 2020. Maybe it's in the conversation. It's in the top 10 conversation for sure. And having, one thing 2020 has not suffered from is a lack of those like ponderous atmospheric horror films. I'm looking at you, The Lodge, and I think this is the movie I wish The Lodge had been. Anyway, I like I like what's happening here in the Relic. I think you should see it. It is unlike the Beach House, where I'm kind of more conditional with my recommendation. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's a good watch. I think Relic is one of those that you kind of need to see it, and it may not hit you. This would be my midsummer review as well. It may not land just right with you, but you're not going to see anything quite like it this year, or maybe any year. It's really something. So anyway, I recommend The Relic. Hey, go see The Relic, or just sit on your couch on your fat ass and watch it, like yours truly. Okay, so let's get to some news and whatnots. Let's go to The Hard Camera, a new podcast here on Legion Podcasts, and as always, I strive to be edutainment. To that end, be sure, you got any questions, drop them in there, anything you want to chat about. So The Hard Camera, for a while, I was like, hey, I don't know nothing about wrestling, but we ought to have a wrestling podcast because everybody on the network fucking knows wrestling. And these yahoos who have been, proponents and whatnot of professional wrestling didn't do a wrestling podcast. And then somebody did one and was like, hey, would you like to put it on the network? And I said, yes, please. And so we now have the Hard Camera, a professional wrestling podcast that you can see. Oop, right there. One of these days I'll get that right. So yeah, check out the Hard Camera. You can find it right there on the Legion Facebook page, and you can subscribe to it on iTunes now. It's available on iTunes now as well, so you can subscribe just to Hard Camera, and it's Levi and Cortland, and they are, I think this is their first show. They're diving in, man. They're young. They're fresh meat. They're the kind of podcasters we eat up, spit out. It's terrible. So anyway, check it out. It's a good show. And it's one of those things where they're like super excited about it. And that, like I said, I don't know nothing about wrestling, but they're really excited about it. It makes me excited about it. I'm like, yeah, tell me more about Otis. What is an Otis? How do I get one? So anyway, check it out. I'm very excited. Also, there is a new podcast called Rad Movie Rama coming from Ricky Morgan. I do not have the art for that, otherwise you would see it. So pretend that up here is art for Rick's new show. But yeah, his show is coming out soon. It seems like I saw the first episode was dropping. It might have already dropped. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm kind of down for that, right? Like, Ricky, every time he does a new show, it's like, I was just listening before we did this. I was just listening to his new intro music, and it's crazy. It's great. Like, guy knows how to produce a show. It's really something. So yeah, check out those new shows on Legion Podcasts as well as your old favorites. We would appreciate that. And look, we try to give. We give and we give and we give some more. And what I am giving is a damn about Ju-On Origins, the Netflix series. So I don't want to say a ton here. But I will say a fair amount here about Ju-on Origins. I've seen it all. I would, yeah, Ricky Morgan is a busy guy, says Abraham Ram. You're right. You are right. He's a busy guy. I could relate. So I saw the Ju-on Origins. And rather than bore you with details of my thoughts, although I'll kind of summarize them here in a second. The point is, if you go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Legion Podcasts, starting tomorrow, every day I will be dropping a little mini commentary that is me watching Ju-on Origins. And so Tuesday was that what Tuesday through Monday, through a week from today, it's 6 like half hour ish episodes, and it's me watching them for the first time with you people. And let me tell you something, folks. Come here. Let me tell you something, folks. Ju-on Origins is fucking crazy. It is one of the most insane shows I have maybe ever seen. And I don't necessarily mean that in the best way. Take it from Rarika here. It's fucking crazy. It is nuts. I mean, it is extreme in the way that like a Frontiers is, where there are moments where I'm just like, are you kidding me? Which is all this to say, do I recommend watching Ju-on Origins? I don't know. I talk about it in the last commentary of like, what do I ultimately feel about this series? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I would recommend it. I don't think it's satisfying enough. I think it's just there are too many loose threads. There are too many things that don't really add up. It's one of those things I kind of want to go back and watch like all of the Ju-on stuff and see where this fits in to all of that. It clearly fits into some stuff, but not everything. Like the house is the same, it's a cursed house, so it's the Ju-on house. But anyway, that show is insane, and I say that like there is a surprising amount of sexual assault, and abuse. Like even Ju-on, the original Grudge, is sort of the idea of a woman who is abused until she becomes this yurei, this vengeful spirit, and this is just nothing but women getting raped and getting the shit beat out of them and being in terrible situations. There are very few characters that are like optimistic and decent people. Most of the people are just total shitbags. I feel like it's almost like Nicholas Winding Refn's Ju-on in some ways. But like I said, the commentaries I think are a lot of fun because it's me in real time reacting to what is happening on screen, what is unfolding. And so if you're a patron at any level, you get all of this stuff. And again, thank you very much if you are a supporter. If you're not, hey, might I recommend this month you throw down like $2 to support the cause and listen to, these 6 episodes, aka about 3 hours of commentary of me watching Ju-on and losing my fucking mind as I watch it. So I don't know. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it yourself. Do I recommend that? There's a GIF face for you. What else do we want to talk about? I got some notes, and if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm going to shift back into the middle. It's like I'm doing a goddamn show here. So I'll tell you what I got coming up, you guys. And like I said, if you have any questions, we will chat about anything you would like to. But on Hero Go Show, we've been Richard Glenn Schmidt and myself went through all those Whispering Corridors movies not so long ago, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. Guys, did you know that there's another Whispering Corridors movie that just got announced this year? So we will be doing that when we can get our hands on it. Better yet, I am somewhat sure it is a direct sequel to Whispering Corridors 5, A Blood Pledge. And if that's the case, I couldn't be happier. I mean, there are better movies in the series, for sure, than A Blood Pledge, but that had some bonker shit in it that I would like to see sequelized. So we did that, but we're also doing another thing, you guys. We're going to be doing the I 1, 2, and 3, and the Child's Eye. So the 4 I films. I think there are only those 4. We're going to be doing those, but those are going to be in the format of a more traditional Hero Go Show. It's going to be a little bit less bonus episode-y and more regular episode-y. So get ready for that. That's coming soon. I'm not going to be able to devote a lot of time to working on that episode this week, unfortunately, due to some crazy-ass day job shit. Can you believe, guys, like I work with bars and restaurants and stuff like that. In this day and age, guys, in light of everything that's going on, people just keep opening bars. Happens all the time. Happening Friday, as a matter of fact. Can't do it everywhere, but you can sure do it here. And is it because we have a falling number of cases of coronavirus? Oh no, we're just brave. We're just good Americans. Any new Duck and Boat Come Correct episodes coming soon? Yes. Not this week, but probably next week. I gotta work it out with Duncan. It's one of those things where he and I have both been kind of busy, and we're also like doing recordings together because of the summer series. So it's one of those things where it feels like I'm recording with him a bunch, but I'm really not in that context. So there will be a new Duncan and Bo Come Correct episode pretty soon. Yes, it will happen soon. But the reason, guys, that it's not going to happen, in addition to the day job stuff, is I'm in the midst of editing the Dragnet episode of Pick Six Movies. Of course, Dragnet is the film what stars Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. If you haven't, I encourage you to check out the music video for City of Crime, which is one of the more ridiculous things you are likely to see today or any day. And that episode is started off over 3 hours when I began the edit. So I think I can trim about an hour of that, but it's still going to be a pretty... It's going to rank in the top 5 longest episodes of Pick Six Movies we've ever done about Dragnet. And I have to admit, though, it's pretty funny. Like, we laughed till we were crying a couple of times. Okay, so one other thing, speaking of shows, here's something that I just kind of want to throw out there, and you can leave a comment, leave your feedback. I'm curious, because it's a show that I want to do, and I'm not sure the proper format is sort of the thing. So I'm just going to let you know what I'm thinking of doing, and you guys tell me. And I'll give credit where credit's due. And also, feel free to leave questions. I saw a couple of new people jump in. What's going on, Alan? Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm kind of wrapped up with news and whatnot. So if you have any questions, let me know. So here's the show idea. And Darren Wilson is the one who gave me the title. So again, credit where credit is due. The show will be called Title Fight. And it is 2 movies randomly taken from my collection and sort of pitted against one another. And the idea is that some of these movies I can just finally toss and get rid of and never think of again. So I've got the first 2 movies. I've watched the first of the first 2 movies. And I'm just not sure of the format of the show and whether it should be audio or video. Because I'm thinking like, well, I can do it audio if I do it audio as an audio, just like a podcast, I can actually do it pretty quick, and I can do it kind of solo. But even then, I'm not sure if it's like, do you do it as just a synopsis show? Do you do it as a review show? Does it need guests? I don't know. These are the answer or questions I don't have answers to yet, but it's something I keep thinking of. Did I ever play the Blair Witch game? Asks Ramman. No, and it's on the Game Pass. So I keep almost playing it, and I haven't yet. The reason I haven't is because I ended up watching a quick look of it, and what I saw of the quick looked kind of boring, quite frankly. So I was like, look, I like a boring game. Don't get me wrong. Let me tell you the amount of time I have sunk into Diablo 3 just hitting XXXXXXXBL1 over and over again. So yeah, I it just didn't make a great first impression when I saw it, when I saw the video of it. So I haven't played it myself, but I keep thinking that I oughta, and that I probably will. Let me know if I should. But I'll tell you what I've been playing, though. I've been playing... I did play Diablo 3. I played all the way back through Diablo 3 for no good reason recently. Just because it was one of those things I was like, I think I'm going to do this one more time, before the Reaper comes. But I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2. Been picking at that still. And because I still haven't finished that game. And I've been playing a little bit of Last of Us, the original Last of Us, because I never played all the way through that. And then I've got, look, here's what my telephone is for. My telephone is for alarms, it's for podcasts, it's for texting, it's for phone calls, and it's for my Match 3 puzzle game. It is a sad state I've come to, but I've probably played Marvel Puzzle Quest almost every day for 3 years at this point, which is crazy. I mean, I've missed some days here and there, but not many people. So that's my legacy that I'm gonna leave for the kids. Yeah. So back to the moral of the story, though. I don't know what to do about Title Fight. I keep tinkering with that. I was trying to think if there's anything that I'm looking forward to video game wise. I played a little Maneater. That was all right. That was a little more Dark Soulsy than I kind of wanted it to be. That is not my style of gameplay. My gameplay style is more lazy. I like which if I'm complaining about Blair Witch being a boring game, sounds like it's right up my alley. But see above regarding Diablo 3. But yeah, I don't know. I should play that. Does it expand the mythology at all? I wonder. I should play it. Is it long? Let me ask you that. Is it long? I like a game that I can get through in about 12 hours. Pitchman for the movies. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, Alan. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll think about that. That's a good idea. Just get some people to record a little piece. All right. Okay. Yeah. I'll stew on that one. In addition to everything that's been going on in the crazy old world lately, another thing that I'm doing is I've been doing game nights where I've been playing the Dungeons and Dragons, which I haven't done since I was a teenager. Was I even a teenager? Preteen, maybe? Back when you bought a box. Had a box and had a couple of books inside rattling around. Rayman, hang on a second. I'll tell you about some comics. I got some good comics news for you. But yeah, so I've got my game tonight, and that has been one of the more enjoyable things I've done over the course of the pandemic. It has been, like a nice outlet of something that I don't know about you guys. During this time, I find myself leaning back on the comfort foods of life, whether that is comfort food, whether that are those comfort food movies, whether it's something like Dungeons and Dragons, where it's like, man, I haven't done that in forever, and I the guy who directed Lost After Dark was like, hey, we got a game, would you like to sit in on it? And so I do that once a week now, and it's super fun. I really like it. Although I don't know any of these guys, and they're all on the West Coast, and I stay up way too late when I play with them. But all right, so let's talk about comics for a second, since Redman brought it up, and also Alan. Again, thank you. I like that idea. I'm gonna play with that. So, yeah, I've been reading through some comics, and I can't tell you the studios off the top of my head. These are all somewhat fairly indie comics. So I'm a big fan of Something's Killing the Children, and I've been catching up on that, and that's been terrific. So if you're not reading Something's Killing the Children, you ought to, because eventually that is going to be a movie, and you can be the person that's like, hey, remember when my old pal Bo recommended Something's Killing the Children, and then I read it and it was awesome, and then it became a movie, and now I'm cool because I can tell everybody I was there then. You should read Something's Killing the Children. That's been very, very good. There was one called it's the Stephen King, Owen King adaptation called Sleeping Beauties. The first issue of that dropped recently. I was not crazy about that. There was a double feature horror comic. I think that might have even been what it was called. That was not very good. Is it Dirty Highway, Bloody Highway? Devil's Highway is the issue one of that dropped recently. Devil's Highway is all about I liked how I had to reach for that one. Speaking of dementia, Devil's Highway is about a serial killer that runs an 18-wheeler kind of up and down a highway. Hence the Devil's Highway moniker. And it's just it's a comic adaptation of a number of serial killer archetypes that do that kind of shit. Like you should hear where's Vanessa McHenry when I need her, so we can just nerd out for a second about the awful shit that happens along the highways of America, namely the crazy amount of serial killers that have used that as their method of choice and sort of their hunting grounds. So Devil's Highway is quite good. It's only an issue one, but it was really compelling. I think this is an Image comic. Give me a second. I'm going to circle back to that one. The one of the best new things that I have read is That Texas Blood, which is a comic that is sort of Coen Brothers-esque. And I mean, it's like that. It's like reading a Joe Lansdale novel, who does the Hap and Leonard stuff. Like what other cornpone, Texas shit. I mean, it's all about like an old sheriff. There's a little bit of No Country for Old Men in it. There's a little bit of a Fargo almost, that kind of small town feel. But there's also, bloody crime afoot in this very simple small town filled with people who are deceptively simple, who lead very complicated interior lives. And the artwork is really striking and kind of almost watercolory. It was kind of cool because I don't spend a whole lot of time on Twitter, but I did tweet out a thing from at Legion Podcast, should you want to follow, about this comic, and the creators like retweeted and were like, hey, thanks. I was like, oh, cool. That's what, Twitter is mostly terrible, but that's a nice thing when you're like, hey, here's a thing I like, and the creators are like, oh, thanks, man. That's a nice exchange. So yeah, that Texas Blood, like if you want my, here's Bo's pick of the week, that Texas Blood is fucking great. It's a great comic. And it's only issue 1. They could totally fuck it up in issue 2. Like issue 2, aliens could arrive, and I'd be like, God damn it. I was really just enjoying this kind of gritty, like Texas noir story. But for right now, that Texas Blood is real cool. I highly recommend that one. Yeah, Devil's Highway, Alan McPherson was saying, keep going on the highway stuff. Yeah, man, again, because I'm like a weirdo and really into, the stories of serial killers and stuff, Devil's Highway was high on my list of stuff to grab when I saw that was hitting the stands. And it was good. I do recommend it all. But that Texas Blood it's just one of those things that it feels like moody, and you feel like you should be drinking beer from a can when you drink it or when you read it. It's quite good. The Image comic I read that I liked, again, another issue 1, but I thought it was a cool idea, and the comic itself was quite good, called A Man Among Ye, which is a story of a female pirate. There's Anne Bonny is her name, something like that. At any rate, based on an historical figure that was a pirate who might have been the captain, but might also have just been fucking the guy who was the captain, and both of them might have been fucking another lady that was on the ship. And, like, historically speaking, there was some kind of controversy over, like, apparently there was a lot of fucking going on in this ship, and they were also pirates, and all of that seemed cool. And A Man Among Ye is not, again, it's an issue 1, but it was a good issue 1. I keep reading X-Force. X-Force is fucking rad, continues to be rad. That's been the best new X title for me, hands down. I like Marauders quite a bit, but X-Force has been just, it's the X-Men of old, where it's, just the X-Men just go fuck shit up. It's kind of fun. It's like the old, like Jim Lee run and shit. So that's kind of the mainstream title I've been reading. I am most of the way through the Hellraiser run of comics. I had never read those, and I've read I'd read most of them at one point, and then just abandoned it at some stage in the game, and then sorry, I was seeing if getting messages from Rick. What was I saying? Doesn't matter. Yeah, Ricky Morgan messaged me and I got totally sidetracked. Blame it on him. Hey, Sandra. So yeah. Other comics I've been checking. Oh, the Hellraiser comics. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, the Hellraiser stuff. I've really enjoyed. I wish it were a little more Hellraiser-y, which is a weird thing to say about a Hellraiser comic, but I wish we spent a little more time in hell. But I'm probably halfway through that run, and most of it does not seem terribly familiar, because sometimes I get confused. I forget about shit. Okay. Any other questions for anyone? I feel like that's about all the comic news I got. And we'll do this again. I mean, this was really just like hey, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Let me make sure all this shit works again. And we will definitely be doing this more regularly. And I'll have some more fun stuff planned. I just want to make, kind of kick the rust off, quite frankly. Got all the rust off. Did not get all the hair off the mic. That's your pal Tully. That's his business. So anyway, in recap, very quickly, thank you again for continuing to support Legion Podcasts and legionpodcasts.com. Please check out the Patreon, Legion Podcast, or patreon.com/Legion Podcasts for the Juon stuff that will be landing starting tomorrow. And we got the new wrestling show. Rick's got his new show coming up. There's going to be new Hero, new Duncan and Bo, new Pick Six with Dragnet. Oh my goodness, the shows, people, the shows, the hours of entertainment that we bring you, and of course most of them are available right here on the YouTube channel. Should you ever need a YouTube version of them. It turns out a lot of people do. A lot of people listen to them on YouTube. I had heard that and was skeptical, and then it happened. I was like, shows me what the fuck I know, right? Lee says The Old Guard, which is based on an Image comic series, popped up on Netflix and was decent. Enjoyed it from last night. I will check that out, Lee. I saw the ads for that, and it's one of those things that I'm like, I'm gonna get to that. I'm just not there yet. Because, all right, look, I know I said I was gonna go. Let me be real with you people, real for a second. I have been watching an inordinate amount of the show Supernatural, and it's because I am usually working on something else, and I wanted something to have on in the background that I didn't really need to pay complete attention to, but I could look up and be like, oh yeah, look, there's Sam and Dean really stepped in it again, that kind of thing. And I finally hit the stuff with like Castiel and the Angels and that kind of thing. And it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of where the series got pretty good. So it's been more distracting probably than I would like. But yeah, so, I should be watching something like The Old Guard. In reality, tonight when I wrap up my nerdy Dungeons and Dragons stuff, I will 100% just watch an episode of Supernatural and fall asleep. So anyway, I'll get to it though, Lee. I promise you. That's the Legion promise. I will watch The Old Guard. Thank you again for listening, for watching, all that fun stuff. Next Monday we will do it again. And it was one of those things like, I can't believe I haven't been doing these from home because I don't commute anymore. Hardly. This week I'm back and forth a bunch. But, fortune favors the bold, I say. That's life advice from me. All right, thanks. That's enough. All right, thanks. Again, check out the Patreon, check out the website, check out all the shows. We'll see you next Monday for more Morbid Mondays, and keep enjoying Legion Podcast. Thanks, Alan, for saying all the new shows are terrific. Speaking of teas, you can go to the merch page where you can get a t-shirt what has a grizzly on it, and it says Legion Podcast. And if that ain't Legion Podcast, I don't know what is. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Talk to you soon.